The History of Israel, Part 2. In case you missed Part 1, the land of Israel was ruled by Jewish Israelites, then Babylonians, then Persians, Greeks, Jews again, Romans, Byzantines, Muslims, Crusaders, Mamluks, Ottomans, and then British. During all this time, since the 12 tribes of Israel emerged from the pagan Canaanite tribes over 3,000 years ago, the land of Israel was inhabited by Jews. And since the Arab conquest 1400 years ago, Muslims have migrated to Israel and settled there as well. We begin this part in the year 1800. Israel is under Ottoman rule, and its population consists mainly of 10,000 indigenous Jews, 20,000 Christians, and 200,000 Muslims, many of whom former Jews and Christians were forced to convert to Islam under Arab, Mamluk, and Ottoman rule. Under the Ottoman Empire, all non-Muslims, such as Jews or Christians, were referred to as dhimmis, basically meaning second-class citizens. During that time, Israel was a small and basically borderless province of the Ottoman Empire, and the Arabs who lived there referred to themselves as South Syrians, as in, we live in that small place that is south of Syria. During the 19th century, both Jews and Muslims migrated to the land of Israel. The Muslims came from the neighboring Muslim countries, especially during the Egyptian conquest in the 1830s, while the Jews, who were facing discrimination and persecution in Europe, fled back to Israel, their ancestral home, in search of a haven. As we approached the 20th century, the term Palestine became popular, especially by Europeans, even though it was originally used by the ancient Greeks to refer to the Philistines, who lived in the Gaza region and were wiped out by the Babylonians 2,500 years earlier. And you may be surprised, but at the start of the 20th century, the word Palestinians was referring to the entire population of Israel, both Jews and Muslims. In this view, I am a Jewish Palestinian. Okay, this was a long intro, so let's set the mark at 1920. The Ottoman Empire has fallen after World War I, and the British Empire was given a mandate over Israel. At that point, after all the Jewish and Arab migrations, the land is inhabited mainly by 600,000 Muslims and 100,000 Jews. The British mandate, as declared by the League of Nations in 1920, was set to care for the well-being of the inhabitants until such time as they are able to stand alone. Meaning, the British were setting the ground for the independence of the inhabitants. But, and that is a major issue, the inhabitants of Israel at that time were both Jews and Arabs. Both had aspirations of self-declaration. Would both get it? And would both be happy about it? You must understand that before, under Ottoman rule, the Arabs in Israel looked at the Jews as inferiors, as second-class citizens. But all of a sudden, the British came, and according to the Balfour Declaration, those dhimmis, those second-class Jews might get their own country? The thought of that made the Arabs frustrated and very angry. While the Jews developed their economy and infrastructure relying on Jewish labor, the Arabs who felt neglected and threatened turned the other way. Acts of violence against Jews started, animosity grew and grew, until finally, in 1929, the Arabs revolted, starting a 10-year bloody rebellion in which Jews were slaughtered by the hundreds. Of course, there's more to know about the politics behind this revolt, but that's not for this video. So we finished this part in 1929. The modern conflict over Israel has officially begun, but that is still nothing, because in Germany, Hitler is about to seize power, igniting a chain of events that will shape the region. And with this weird cliffhanger, I invite you to follow for part 3.